Dzień dobry, Splendidos! Splendor was in Poland's capital and largest city for the Warsaw Book Fair, an annual event which occupies the entire concourse of the National Stadium. The convention hosts competitions, debates, debuts, and literary and artistic exhibitions from around the world. The book fair is a momentous cultural occasion in Central and Eastern Europe, and the associated comics festival, Festival Komiksowa Warsaw, is the foremost of several great events arranged by the Polish Comics Association. Each year they host Polish and international artists, vendors, programs for children, and exhibitions of art technology. The 2019 festival was celebrating 100 years of Polish comics. While you have a look at that exhibition, I'll give a little historical background. Before 1919, Poland did not exist as a state for more than 100 years, and Warsaw was the provincial capital of South Prussia during that time. Several centuries of history as a diverse city came to an abrupt end during World War II. Historical figures from Warsaw include Marie Curie, Samuel Goldwyn, the founder of MGM, composer Frederick Chopin, and American Revolutionary War hero Kazimierz Pulaski.
Polish stuff, and some many others publishing only comics from other countries.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to say anything about yourself? Why you become a comic publisher? Why you enjoy this work? Okay.
Yeah, I started publishing comics like 14 years ago. I was a comics fan and I reading many comics. That was one of things I really like in my life. So I decided one time with my two friends, who one was writer and the second was artist, publish comics. But before that time I worked on the university in the political science faculty. So that was this is why I really like the political and social themes in comics too. Comics even in Poland here now in May.
We had a very interesting conversation about communists, domestic abuse, Nazis, and steampunk. You can watch the full interview here on this channel, Splendor, and don't forget to subscribe. Meanwhile, here's a look at some of the amazing books coming out at Team Off Publishing.
Jeżowym zamku nie powstał, lecz pojechał na polowanie. Kiedy przejeżdżał przez polanę, na której rosły truskawki, zobaczył dziewczynę. Dziewczynę tak piękną, jakiej w życiu jeszcze nie widział. Więc król krzyknął sobie.
Hello, I am Maciej Kur. I am Polish scriptwriter for animation and books, and book author and animation director. My new book, Kajko and Kokosz, Królewska Konna, had premiere now. It's a book from the series created by Janusz Chrysta, this legendary Polish comic book author, one of like top 3 main authors we ever had. And it's like his main series, and we are continuing making new books. And I was chosen as the writer, so I'm happy about it because they like my books apparently. So it's like the first new book in 30 years, and we did new book based on his unused idea. Like it was just this little synopsis, and I did an entire book out of it. They are like Slavic warriors. It's like series from like 60 years ago, so it's continuing this series. I also now publish my book for children, Sylvia Sylvester. It's a fantasy book about fairies, but they are not fairies who do magic, they do miracles, because I actually difference the two. Because in Poland we are very Christian, so they have to do miracles, not magic. They are Sylwia, Termilka, Samowieszka, Lucyferetka, Speszka, Śmieszynka, Niezapominajka. It's all Polish name, but they are all funny. It's actually this book is about disabilities. I also do with Magdalena Kania, Dolisies, and Emily Hash. Emilka Sza in Polish. Emily, it's about a mime. Emily is a mime, but she was born a mime. Like from the day she was born, she has white skin, she cannot make sound, and she was born in a hospital only she could see. And she like lives in an invisible house, and her best friend Natalie is blind.
My name is Szymon Holzman, and I'm co-owner of Kultura Gniewu, Culture of Anger. You can translate it like that. This is Jarek, second co-owner. We are doing translations and local artists. I would say 50-50. Kultura Gniewu was established by Jarek, and he was a publisher of Polish independent hardcore and punk music scene. He was publishing some records of such kind of music, but he also was a big fan of comic books, and he decided one day that he will publish independent punk artists from Poland. 19 years later we are publishing books all around the world and some new Polish talents, but still remember about our punk backgrounds and do-it-yourself background. And after a few years we established ourselves as a quite interesting and quite good publishing house, and right now we are getting offers all the time, publishing offers from debutants or quite well-known Polish artists. We have 2 publishing lines. One is devoted for comic books for adults and mature readers, but not in terms of sex and violence, but the topics, books about history, autobiographical books, books by authors from all around the world like Guy Delisle, Rutu Modan, Adrian Tomine, Daniel Cloves, Charles Burns. So that kind of comic books. So you could say graphic novels. And we just noticed that there are coming, our faithful readers are coming for books on festivals like this, and they are coming with their kids, and we don't have anything for the kids. And we have kids ourselves, so we said, wow, why not to do something for kids which won't be Disney or mainstream. You will tell me what's interesting when you are looking at our stand. What's interesting for you?
I would like to see something more in the punk rock.
So that's a good choice because it's a book about Hedgehog. It's called George the Hedgehog. His skateboard, he's drinking beer, he's fighting with a Nazi, and he's I would say he gives you a glimpse into the end of the century in Poland. So it's a quite historical book right now. Every story of George the Hedgehog will be published in this series. It will be 5 volumes altogether. So what else draws your attention? The author of this book, Wojtek Wawrzyk, it's his debut. but he's a film director, and he's doing animated movies, commercial one and artistic one as well. And he was working on this book for about 16 years, titled Mr. Bulb. And this is his story about his growing up, about being independent from your parents, from your home, and about searching of your own place in life and world. So it's a very universal story about very universal things like passions, like love, like loneliness. It's nominated for the best book, the Polish comic book of the year here on this festival, and we will know if it gets the prize on Saturday. You have everything, in fact, in Poland in terms of comics. Last 10 years were really, everything changed so fast and growth so fast. Superhero comic books on newspaper stands, in libraries, in bookstores, everywhere really. We have European mainstream, like Valerian, for example. Of course, it's not a market as big as in France. There is this huge market in France, but we can compare to some other European countries in terms of quality and quantity of books published in Poland. Yeah, so it's very interesting to be a comic book publisher right now in Poland. We don't think, oh, that one will sell, so we publish it. No, that's not our way of doing this. We just have to read a book and fall in love with the book and then publish it. And I think that people, readers, can feel it. They know that they can trust us. Our social media, we are not, working with some interns or some people who are doing that for money. Everything we are doing by ourselves. We are trying to answer every question, every email, every comment on Facebook or whatever, It's a handmade. It's totally handmade. It's not a factory with books, with comic book. For first 4 years, we were publishing only Polish artists, and then we decided, it's time to present some interesting comics from all around the world. And one of the first books we bought, first license we bought, was Dumb and Dramen by Anna Sommer from Switzerland. Publisher of this book in Switzerland, David Basler from Edition Moderne, very famous publishing house from Switzerland, told me, wow, it's great that you want to do our artists, Thomas Ott and Anna Sommer, but remember, you always have to publish your own Polish artists, because if you won't publish them, no one will publish them. It's good, of course, to publish very well-known artists from all around the world, like Delil, Rutu Modan, and many others, but more exciting is publishing Polish artists, because you are the first to show the book to readers. There is no other editions in any other languages. You are the first.
Hello, I'm Aleksandra Cieślik from Fundacja Animacja. We are based in Warsaw and we are trying to escape, as you can see, memories of old people who used to live or still live in Prague by creating comic books. Not only Polish illustrators, but for example, Sandoval or Penko Gelev from Bulgaria. We found them on the internet. Internet connected people. The stories are about daily life of old people who live or used to live in Prague. Prague is one of the oldest districts in Warsaw. We really like this district. We think that Prague, this district is one of the most historical and spectacular in Warsaw. Nowadays, Prague is still a district for many people, many old people, but there's a cultural mix here because there are some artists who really want to live in Prague, and there are some old people, there are some rich people and some really poor people. We really like that these districts are still lively. No, unfortunately, but I wish I could.
My name is Paweł Andrejuk and I work in Museum of Printing and Paper Production in Supraś. It's a little town near Białystok, about 200 kilometers from Warsaw, and here we came to show how people used to print. Here we have printing press and we used to print linocut, as you can see over here. And at first we need to put ink on our printing form. And now we put our printing form under the press. And this way people used to print pictures in books.
Beautiful.
Books, but nobody knows how those books was printed today or earlier. So it's also very interesting for children, for young people to see how it looks 200 years ago or even 100 years ago, because even at the beginning of 20th century we still use woodcut to print illustration in books. So there we have a lot of different kinds of printing machines from different periods. So we have also a wood press, a reconstruction of printing press from 15th, 16th century. The similar press how print Gutenberg, for example, in the middle of 15th century. Our machines in our museum are works. So you can touch them, you can move them, so you turn them on. It's hobby, but I'm lucky because I work in place which I love actually. Yes. Please come visit us in Supraś, in our museum.
So that's that, Splendidi. Thanks once again for joining me for Euro Splendor. Please subscribe and share, and as always, stay splendid.
I'm now trying to get my stuff published in France and other countries, but we hope I'm gonna see how things will turn out with other books.
Of course, the
website is pragagada.pl.
And we know it's hard to say. Polish is very difficult, but don't worry.
Kurczak Gniewu was established by Jarek, and he was a publisher of Polish independent hardcore and punk music scene. He was publishing some records of such kind of music, but he also was a big fan of comic books.